Ever wonder why certain vintage beauty products never seem to go away, no matter how many new fads come and go? From the glamorous starlets of 1950s old Hollywood to our modern vanity shelves, the beauty secrets of that golden era still have a grip on us. If you're a history buff, a makeup collector, or simply curious about why these old solutions continue to mesmerize us, buckle up. We're about to uncover the seductive power of 1950s Hollywood beauty, the birth of 1950s beauty obsession. Life after World War II was bursting with optimism, and nowhere was this more evident than in the world of beauty. Soldiers returned home, families grew, and for the first time in a while, people had money to spend on non-essentials. Cosmetic companies rode that tidal wave of consumer excitement, churning out everything from brand new lipstick formulas to lotions that promised everlasting youth. Hollywood was the perfect stage for this blossoming beauty scene. The 1950s saw the rise of more vibrant Technicolor films, a major shift from the grainy black and white pictures of earlier decades. Suddenly, actors and actresses needed products that would look flawless under an unforgiving burst of color. It gave birth to a fresh demand for specialized cosmetics and a quiet competition among top makeup houses to supply them. But there was more stirring behind the curtain. People whispered about starlets getting exclusive versions of certain products, rumored hush-hush compounds that only big studios could procure. Makeup lines battled for contracts with the biggest names in show business, pushing them to innovate faster than ever. That competition set the stage for an era of beauty obsession, one driven by star power, brand rivalry, and a dash of scandal. Yet it wasn't just the movies that sparked this avalanche of new beauty must-haves, game-changing makeup innovations. In the early 50s, major players like Max Factor, Estee Lauder, and Revlon began unveiling some of the most innovative products the cosmetic world had ever seen. Make no mistake, these weren't just updated versions of your grandmother's cold cream. They were lab-based marvels, specifically formulated to photograph well in color and last under hot studio lights. Stick foundations and creamy concealers. One of the first showstoppers was the stick foundation. Before this, most women struggled with pancake makeup or greasy creams that turned cakey after a few hours. Suddenly, there was a neat little tube you could swipe on and blend out in seconds, rumored to have been tested on film sets to ensure minimal shine. Max Factor's pan stick became legendary. Some insisted it single-handedly rescued certain actresses from the dreaded color bleed problem in Technicolor, where makeup reflected weird tints under bright lighting. Another quiet revolution was the concealer, which many consider a modern mainstay. Back in the 50s, so-called cover sticks were hush-hush secrets used by top makeup artists to mask blemishes and create the illusion of poreless skin on screen. Competition to release the first concealer was intense. Companies watched each other's patents like hawks, ready to pounce with a near-identical formula if it meant snatching up a piece of the market. Rumor has it a few labs fought over ingredient lists, accusing each other of swiping trade secrets. The mascara boom. Then there was the evolution of mascara, from messy cake blocks applied with a brush and water to sleek tubes with built-in wands. Early versions had huge problems with flaking and smudging, which spelled disaster under those bright 1950s movie lights. Once manufacturers nailed a formula that stayed put without looking like tar, everyone wanted it. Some fans whispered that certain brands tested early formulations on unsuspecting starlets, who had no idea they were essentially part of a real-world experiment. Those high-stakes product races only fueled Hollywood's love affair with cosmetics, leading to secret deals and carefully crafted endorsements. Hollywood endorsements and studio secrets. Hollywood studios in the 50s weren't just handing out beauty products like candy, they were controlling entire images. Contracts often dictated every aspect of an actress's appearance, from hair color to the shape of her eyebrows. Film executives knew that a single "it" product, favored by a big star, could spark nationwide frenzies. So, they brokered partnerships, sometimes quietly, sometimes with great fanfare, between top actors and cosmetic brands, star power and secret negotiations. Brands like Max Factor, Revlon, and Estee Lauder scrambled for cameo mentions in movies or for that coveted public endorsement. Rumor has it that Marilyn Monroe tested new lipsticks in private sessions with studio makeup artists, while Elizabeth Taylor had entire labs dedicated to matching her exact shade preferences. If an actress hinted in an interview that she swore by a certain foundation, sales skyrocketed the next day. But these deals weren't always neat and tidy. Some alleged backdoor pacts had big stars locked into exclusivity contracts, preventing them from mentioning or wearing rival brands, even if another shade suited them better. Cloaked in confidentiality, these pacts allowed studios to quietly pocket sponsorship dollars. Meanwhile, the public was left to guess which star was authentically in love with a product versus contractually obliged to use it. Behind-the-scenes brand battles. If you think social media feuds are intense, imagine being in the middle of mid-century beauty brand rivalries. Gossip columns occasionally spilled details of stolen formulas or underhanded marketing campaigns. A few sensational magazines claimed one brand snuck a spy onto a rival's production line. While many of these stories were never confirmed, the drama certainly fueled curiosity and boosted magazine sales. Even as faces were perfected on camera, hair took center stage in everyday life. And one quirky invention made that possible: the rise of the perfect hairdo. For a long time, maintaining elaborate hairstyles was a tedious job. Women relied on overnight curlers, hair nets, and a prayer that their set wouldn't collapse before morning. But the 1950s ushered in a new era of frozen-in-place glamour. The magic ingredient behind it all? Hairspray, a product so groundbreaking it once outsold lipstick worldwide, from insecticide to beauty staple. It's almost unbelievable. But hairspray owes its existence to the technology behind aerosol insecticides developed during World War II. When manufacturers realized they could aerosolize liquid to distribute it in a fine mist, one visionary company decided, why not apply this to hair? The result was a styling staple that gave women the power to defy gravity. Beehives soared higher, bouffants lasted longer, and celebrity coiffes stayed immaculate through an entire day of filming. The safety controversies. However, people whispered about the potential hazards of releasing these chemicals into the air. There were rumors that certain cans contained dangerously high levels of flammable propellants, leading to dramatic cautionary tales about how a spark could set a styling session ablaze. Speculation also touched on possible lung irritation and unknown long-term effects. Beauty devotees brushed off the concerns. Most were simply thrilled to keep their hair in place for days at a time. A few authorities called for stricter labeling, but mainstream acceptance trudged forward without pause. And while hair products soared in popularity, so did speculation about what was really inside all these newfangled makeup formulas. Surprising controversies and rumors. The 1950s beauty boom was not without backlash. For every success story, there seemed to be an ominous rumor about a hazardous chemical or hidden side effect. Media scrutiny started to intensify, prompted by a rise in consumer advocacy. People wanted to know exactly what they were putting on their faces. The miracle ingredient frenzy. A wave of companies claimed to have discovered miracle solutions, often derived from exotic-sounding substances. Words like placental extract, royal jelly, and even hormone-infused, sprinkled across ad campaigns, stoking curiosity. Certain creams boasted that they could transform your skin in just 7 days. Critics cautioned that these terms might be marketing fluff, but the public ate it up. Sales soared on the hope that a jar of cream might replicate the youthful glow of a Hollywood idol. Lab mishaps and alleged cover-ups. Occasionally, alarming stories surfaced. Some believed new lipstick dyes were causing allergic reactions, or that certain powders contained irritants banned in other countries. A handful of women complained of rashes, dryness, or breakouts. Many doubted the validity of these claims, but the hush-hush nature of cosmetic testing in the 50s magnified every rumor. Labs typically conducted in-house tests with minimal government oversight, fueling speculation that some brand owners preferred hush money to public acknowledgement of a faulty formula. Unspoken health concerns. Behind the scenes, talk grew about aerosol inhalation from hairspray or chemical-laden face creams. Few doctors had conclusive answers, leading to more rumor-laced chatter than scientific confirmation. Still, the allure of glamorous, camera-ready skin often overshadowed these concerns. If a star swore by a certain product, fans often followed suit, no questions asked. Despite those swirling rumors, a handful of brands emerged stronger than ever, becoming household names that endure to this day. The enduring power of 1950s brands. Even with the controversies, certain companies leveraged their Hollywood prestige into enduring brand power. By the late 1950s, the top 3 names, Max Factor, Estée Lauder, and Revlon, were practically unstoppable. They'd captured not just the hearts of moviegoers, but also everyday women determined to look their best at all times. Max Factor, the king of innovation. Max Factor famously started as a studio makeup supplier, perfecting foundations that photographed seamlessly. Word on the street was that major directors refused to film in color without the right formulas, and Max Factor delivered. Through high-profile endorsements and innovative leaps, like stick foundations, all-in-one cream powders, and advanced lipsticks. The company built a legacy so robust, it's still recognized around the world. Even after the collapse of the big Hollywood studio system, their reputation for camera-ready results kept them relevant. Estée Lauder, the pioneer of mass luxury. Estée Lauder took a different approach, aiming to bring a sense of luxury to everyday consumers. The founder herself played an active role in marketing, presenting products like Youth DU, a fragrance, bath oil hybrid, that empowered women to purchase perfume themselves instead of waiting for gifts. This was a radical shift at a time when many women still depended on husbands for personal spending. An undercurrent of scandal followed claims that some of Lauder's miracle formulas had pricey exotic ingredients with questionable effectiveness, but the brand's smooth, classy image prevailed. Revlon, the bold marketing maverick. Revlon had a knack for drama. With ad campaigns like Fire and Ice, they introduced lip colors that practically shimmered off the page. They dared consumers to ask themselves if a shade matched not only their appearance, but their personality. This psychological slant on marketing was new, and it worked. Revlon lipsticks flew off the shelves, overshadowing any controversies about formula changes or rumored allergic reactions. These legendary successes wouldn't stay trapped in the past. Modern-day revivals and nods to 1950s glam prove that those influences still run strong. The modern revival. Decades later, the old Hollywood aesthetic is once again on the rise. Vintage-inspired looks trend on social media, and big-name cosmetic brands resurrect mid-century formulas, sometimes with slight tweaks, to cater to nostalgia-hungry fans. vintage collections, and limited edition releases. From Revlon relaunching classic lipstick shades to Estée Lauder commemorative packaging, modern collectors go wild for these blasts from the past. Some argue it's just a marketing strategy, but others insist these vintage formulas genuinely deliver a timeless allure. There's a unique thrill in swiping on a colour that Audrey Hepburn might have worn on set. Hollywood's ongoing love affair. Red carpets today are peppered with vintage references. Think winged liner, bold red lips, and softly sculpted cheeks reminiscent of Grace Kelly. Celebrity makeup artists sometimes spill the beans about using modern versions of 1950s favourites. Every so often, a rumour surfaces that an A-lister found an unopened stock of original pan stick or cold cream in an estate sale and now uses it religiously. Whether these stories are real or not, they reinforce the irresistible mystique of old Hollywood beauty secrets. Influencers and retro tutorials. Across YouTube and other platforms, beauty gurus produce step-by-step tutorials on 1950s pin-up makeup or Marilyn Monroe's real skincare routine. Some dig into archived interviews and brand documents, unearthing tidbits about packaging, scent, or application tips lost to time. With each revival, the fascination deepens, and so does the speculation. Did we ever really improve upon these products? Or are we constantly reinventing the same timeless formulas? No matter which brand or product strikes your fancy, there's a reason these 1950s beauty solutions have hung around for so long, a legacy that lasts. From hush-hush lab experiments to iconic endorsements splashed across magazines, the 1950s birthed a beauty revolution that continues to captivate. Yes, modern brands constantly tout their next big discovery, but the truth is, we're still pulling from the same mid-century well of innovation. Stick foundations, creamy concealers, luminous powders, and unstoppable hairsprays all trace back to that dazzling era where Hollywood glam met everyday aspiration. In a world overloaded with new skincare lines every week, the lasting influence of these vintage products is a reminder that sometimes the tried and true classics really do deliver. The next time you pick up a bright red lipstick, spritz your hair, or dab on a luxurious cream before bed, take a moment to appreciate the old Hollywood lineage running through your routine. Could it be that these so-called old formulas might hold the blueprint for future breakthroughs? Only time will tell. For now, these enduring classics prove that a little vintage mystique never goes out of style. And neither do the controversies that keep us talking about them, decades after the silver screen first lit up in glorious Technicolor. Thank you for joining this deep dive into 1950s old Hollywood beauty. If you're intrigued by the style secrets of the past and how they shape the present, stay tuned for more eye-opening histories, controversies, and revelations. After all, in beauty, as in show business, there's always another behind-the-scenes story waiting to be revealed.